Disgraced former Congressman George Santos cuts a deal with prosecutors to avoid trial on federal charges. But first, homeowners struggling to recover from the devastation left behind by powerful storms. You're watching Newsday TV. I'm Lisa DiStefano. The Suffolk County executive signed an emergency declaration hoping to get the state and federal government to help communities, some of which got more than 9 inches of rain overnight.
We originally estimated at least 25 million. That estimate's climbing well over to 50 million at this time. All the fish, carp and others, large ones, all died. The snapping turtles all died.
Just awful. The biggest single example of the power of the storm, the dam at Mill Pond in Stony Brook collapsed. The roadway washed out, and that allowed all the water in the pond to drain out, leaving behind dead fish and this muddy mess.
This is an environmental and economic disaster. This mill pond, the last time this occurred was over 100 years ago in 1910. Millions of gallons of water, turtles, fish, everything is downstream, along with the personal belongings of many of the houses that were flooded. This area, this road, Harbor Road, that was washed out is a catastrophe. Connects Brookhaven to Smithtown. It is a well-traveled road. It is a road and rehabilitation project that is going to cost upwards of $10 million.
Officials say at least 100 homes suffered flood damage from that torrential rain. Oh, our hearts go out to all of those people. And some students at SUNY Stony Brook are being relocated because their dorm suffered flood damage. What a way to start the semester for them. And throughout the day, many homeowners were outside trying to figure out just what they're going to do because their streets looked like this, looked like a swamp. The Brookhaven Town Supervisor says anyone who needs help in recovering from the storm should call 631-451-TOWN. That number is 631-451-TOWN. And remember, for the very latest on the storm damage and the work being done to fix it, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box on our homepage. Former Congressman George Santos has pled guilty to wire fraud and aggravated identity theft. His plea comes a month before his scheduled trial.
It's clear to me now that I allowed ambition to cloud my judgment, leading me to make decisions that were unethical and guilty. Pleading guilty is a step I never imagined I'd take. But it is a necessary one because it is the right thing to do. It's not only a recognition of my misrepresentations to others, but more profoundly, it is my own recognition of the lies I told myself over these past years. It is a confirmation with these truths that have flooded me with deep regret for the choices I made.
There he is speaking to reporters as he left court. Santos, who was expelled from Congress, admitted in court that he betrayed the public's trust. The wire fraud conviction carries a possible 20-year sentence, and aggravated identity theft carries a 2-year minimum sentence. Newsday columnist Joy Brown explains what Santos's case has changed.
It was his election which changed the balance to help Long Island. Long Island helped change the balance of power in the Congress. It's changed the way candidates are vetted by political parties, and it's also changed the way candidates are vetted by media. You know, everybody's taking a close look at everything else. It's changed the way people look at campaign finances. It used to be if something was filed late, hey, maybe it's going to come, or maybe we're not paying attention. Everybody's paying attention to that now.
They sure are. Santos will be sentenced in February. To read more about the guilty plea, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box on our homepage. A West Islip man has been sentenced to 4 months in jail for killing his aunt's dog. Peter Minicello pleaded guilty to beating this 5-year-old Chihuahua mix named Pup Pup. The 22-year-old is also facing 5 years of probation and a lifetime ban on owning animals. Democrats are kicking off their national convention, and they're hoping to build excitement and momentum as we approach Election Day. Sherry Einhorn is in Chicago with the latest.
Energy and enthusiasm. New York Democrats say they have it. They want voters to feel it during this convention and heading into November. They want to keep the White House, but also want the excitement over Vice President Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to trickle down and translate into big wins in key state races.
There's a renewed energy. There's a sense that, Kamala represents the average person. She's going to tackle the issues that are important to, people of color, to families, to women, and that's what you feel on the ground. That's what you feel in the streets of Long Island.
But is momentum enough to get the job done? Here's Lawrence Levy from Hofstra University's National Center for Suburban Studies.
Democrats need to at least give these voters, the ones who are not completely decided, a sense that they have ideas, that they can operationalize those ideas, and that they won't let them down.
Governor Kathy Hochul expected to address the convention tonight. She gave a little preview at the delegates' breakfast this morning, telling her fellow New Yorkers what she needs from them.
Right, we feel good. We're going to deliver New York for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Yes, we are. But she needs to have a Democratic House of Representatives to get her agenda through. Full stop. Full stop. And the nation needs us to do it. Are you up for that, New Yorkers? Are you up to take back the House? Are we going to take Long Island? Are we going to take the Hudson Valley? We're going to take Central New York. Yes, we are.
In Chicago, I'm Sherry Einhorn for NewsdayTV.
Read more from our team at the Democratic National Convention on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the NewsdayTV video box. More than 80 police officers were sworn in to the Suffolk County Police Department today. More than 40% of these recruits have prior law enforcement experience. Police say seven are fluent Spanish speakers, and this is the 191st recruit class in Suffolk. Congratulations. A street has been renamed to honor a police officer from Hauppauge. Susing Boulevard and Serene Place is now Thomas G. Brophy Way. Officer Brophy died at the age of 36 from cancer that was linked to 9/11. He was with the NYPD for 16 years and is survived by his wife and his son. Well, he is known as the father of U.S. submarines and set up the nation's first base right here on Long Island. John Valenti has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
So there's a historic marker in this empty lot in New Suffolk, declaring it the first submarine base in America. I started talking to naval historians and local historians in Suffolk County and the town of Southold, and found the story of John Philip Holland. Holland was an Irish immigrant who had trained to be a priest, dropped out of the priesthood. His family emigrated to America in 1873. Holland had read 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne, which had introduced the idea of submarines to the world. So the Holland Torpedo Boat Company is in New Suffolk from 1899 to 1905. During that time, they merged with the Electric Boat Company and moved to Groton, Connecticut, where eventually they become General Dynamic Electric Boat, which is the builder of nuclear power submarines today for the U.S. Navy. The day that the Holland had been commissioned by the U.S. Navy is regarded as Submarine Day, and the Navy regards that little spot in New Suffolk as the roots of the entire submarine force and U.S. naval history.
Love learning about the history here. Read more about Long Island submarine history on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
Newsday Sports is brought to you by King O'Rourke Automotive Group.
Sled hockey is empowering athletes on the East End. Jamie Stewart has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
I was very excited to find out that the sport continues after disabilities.
Clean passes, good shots.
When I was a kid, I was very socially awkward, and this taught me that, there are people like me that can do these things.
Gotta take the hit. This is hockey. Pressure, Gabe, pressure. I've been playing sled hockey about 20 years. Back, Buster, back! At the age of 9, I was diagnosed with something called astrocytomas, which is tumors in a spinal cord. And at the age of 20, I had back surgery that left me paraplegic and in a wheelchair.
Larry and the rest of his New York Rangers sled hockey teammates were on the ice this past weekend as part of the iconic ice rink's Hockey is Hockey Day. Yes, it was competitive, but all of these players are really on the same team.
I was born with spina bifida.
Put it on net!
When I was about 15, I found out about sled hockey. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So I said, I want to try that.
So did Chris from Bellport, even if his battles have been different than his teammates.
We have to remember that not all disabilities are visible, and so I was served in the U.S. Army, deployed to Afghanistan, had an injury. Deep! It's really about building those communities, getting the support, getting people involved. I mean, it's probably the greatest thing I ever did.
A sentiment shared among his Rangers teammates.
Defense, defense!
Being part of a team is the best thing that ever happened to me.
1, 2, 3, Rangers! In Calverton, Jamie Stewart, Newsday TV.
How awesome and inspiring. Read more exclusive sports stories like this on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. And now let's take a look at our Long Island forecast. We have some unsettled weather tonight, but a better day ahead tomorrow with some cloud cover, and it cools down a little bit. Let's take a look at the 7-day. Rain moves out and we are in for some sunshine.
Long Island weather is brought to you by PTRC.
You're watching Newsday TV. I'm Elisa DiStefano. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great evening.